Recording start. Okay. Welcome to day nine. Is it day nine? I think it is day nine, right? Definitely day nine. And you guys have come, three of you have come, which is awesome. And I'm really, really pumped to see the three of you simply because um, today, the kind of day that I had was insanely mental, insanely sad, insanely. It's like, what am I doing in this life? Those are the questions that I asked myself. And just before starting the recording, I asked you, do I come across to you as a person who is full of life, or looks like I've got everything together? And each of you said yes, right? Yes, yes, each of you said yes. Why do I look the way I look like? You know why I look like that? Elizabeth said something very interesting. She said, you look very energetic, you look very fresh. And this is after a long day of work. And you guys have seen my schedule, right? You guys have seen that I wake up at 4 o'clock, that I go to work out, I come back, have some family time. Um, then I go back to the bakery, and when I'm at the bakery, it is standing and doing a lot of work. I don't even have time to sit down. And yes, I schedule breaks, and I put them in my calendar so that I'm able to sit down and rest. I make time for rest, but if I do not do that, I it is very difficult. Like, I am constantly standing and my legs are hurting, my feet are hurting. But guess what? Over time, I built this. Yeah. And whether you like it or not, no matter what you say to yourself, I'm going to say this one sentence that changed my life. Where what you focus on is where your energy flows. I'm going to repeat that again. What you focus on is where your energy flows. So if you're going to focus on all the bad things in life, that all the bad things that are going on in your life, your energy is going to flow there. If you're going to focus on all the things that are good in your life, your energy flows there. Is that making sense? Give me a yes in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up. All right? Yeah. How many of you like listening to stories? Yes, Rachel, me too. I love listening to stories. Right? When somebody is telling us a story, it makes somehow even the most difficult of concepts become very easy. Right? Remember in the introduction time I told you, did I tell you about the story of the frog, the African story? Yeah, African story about pressure, and how without knowing, if you put a frog in a pot of hot water, the frog is going to jump out. But if you put the frog in a cold water and slowly put fire underneath, and the water slowly starts heating up, the frog gets trapped in it. Yes, remember that? And that kind of stuck in my head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is how complacency is. Right. And it's a very tough concept. Complacency is a very tough concept, but the story made it very easy. Right? Yes. So for me, when I have to listen to stories, or when I have to look at life, the best place for me is the Bible. And I know each of you is a Christian, so I'm sure you also read the Bible. But if you're not a Christian, also it's a great place to go for stories. So and everybody knows Jesus, right? So Jesus is somebody who talked about the most difficult concepts of life, like stories. Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories, and this is about a guy who has three servants, and to each of his servants he gives, hey, listen, I'm gonna go away to a far off place. I'm giving you 5 coins. Why don't you go do something with it? The second servant, he goes and gives him 2 coins, and he says, why don't you go do something with it, and when I come back, let's see what happens. And the third servant, he gives him 1 coin. And I'm sure this is a very very familiar story to each one of you because you guys must have heard it. But when I was reading it as a young person, I did not understand. Why? Because there's a twist in the story. When the master comes back, the first servant comes and says, "You know what? You gave me five coins. I'm gonna give you. I did business with it. Guess what? I made five more coins. I doubled it and I'm giving it to you." So the master says, "Hey, you've been faithful with five. I'm gonna make you master of 5 cities." Right? Or does he say 10 cities? 5 or 10 cities, I'm not sure. And the second servant does the same thing. He takes the 2 coins and he goes and does business with it, and he brings back 2 more coins. And the master says, "Good and faithful servant, I'm going to give, because you're faithful with a little, I'm going to make you master of 2 cities, 2 or 4 cities, one of those things." And then the third servant comes and he says something very interesting. He says, "You are a tough guy. You're a tough master. You are looking for things where you haven't sowed." And he says, "You gave me only one. I did not know what to do with it. So what did I do? I dug a hole and I buried it. Here is the 1 coin that you gave me." And he gives it back to the master. And guess what the master says? He says, "You are a wicked servant." The word he says is a wicked servant. And he says, "You are, because you did not do this, I'm going to throw you into a place where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth." Basically, it is hell, is what the master is talking about. And I always struggled with it. I always struggled with why did, first of all, it felt very unfair. First of all, it felt extremely unfair. The guy who got five coins, it's very easy, no? Money makes money. Isn't that what we heard? Money makes money. So I need money to make more money. I don't have investment. People are not investing in me. So how can I even make more money? It felt very unfair that God was expecting something more from me when I did not have as much as other people had, like in terms of money, in terms of beauty, in terms of talent, in terms of opportunity, in terms of everything. I felt like the third servant, and I said, "You did not give me a lot, but you're expecting a lot from me." But what I found very interesting was how the master talked to the third servant. He did not say, "You lazy fellow." He did not even call him, "You stupid fellow." He did not even call him, you, you dumb guy. What did he call him? He called him, "You're a wicked guy." Who do you call wicked people? In your experience, who do you call wicked people? Give it to me in the chat box or unmute yourself also, not a problem. Bad people, yes. Someone who harms, yes. You guys are all right, by the way. Anything else? Elizabeth, you wanna give your opinion about who you think is a wicked person? And Karuna also? I'm guessing you guys are typing. Ungrateful? You think of ungrateful people as wicked people, Elizabeth? When somebody doesn't say thank you to you, do you think
No,
of them as wicked?
no, even
Huh?
what we have, we are not thankful, no?
So when we are not thankful, do you immediately think of that person as a wicked person? Huh?
Yeah,
You do?
I feel like that. Like,
Oh, you feel like that. Okay.
uh,
That's fine.
like
That's fine.
see, many people I do like help so
Uh-huh.
much, and then they reverse and show bad
Okay. From that angle,
way.
okay. From that angle.
That way, yeah.
Like they're taking and taking from you, and
Um,
then they're not
uh,
responding in
they
thankfulness,
say
or they,
again
yeah. Okay,
bad
that
and
makes sense. Yeah, that
that.
makes sense. Yeah.
And for me, Dolly,
Tell me.
yeah, for me, wicked are someone like they're very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
They want to deceive. They are cunning in nature.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they act smart in among us,
Right.
right? So
Right.
those people I consider to be wicked
Okay.
because their thoughts are not proper,
Their thoughts are not
not
proper. Yeah,
proper.
these see all these things are what wicked people are, right? In our heads, when we think of wicked person, we don't think of what the third person did. Do you think of that person as wicked? The third servant who had only one
Hmm.
coin. Do you think of that person as wicked? If
No,
you
actually, he was lazy. Actually, he was.
but did the master call him lazy?
No, right? Yeah.
Master did not call him lazy, right?
Hmm.
What did the master call him?
Wicked.
You wicked servant.
Hmm.
So what does that mean? Like when you look at the story, it means that there is more to the story than what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are looking at, oh, if we do not use what we have, we might be lazy. But what is it actually? It is wickedness. I'll tell you why it is wickedness.
Hmm.
I'll tell you why it is wickedness. It blew my mind. It really blew my mind when I understood this. So, whatever I have in my life, when I am looking at it and I'm saying, you know what, I have to use it, I have to use it, I have to use it, I am being extremely selfish because I'm only thinking about myself. I am only freaking thinking about myself. I'm thinking about what I can do so that I can live off of it. I can be comfortable with it. And then when I'm looking at what is inside me, I am saying it's not enough. It is not enough for me. It is not enough to make me more rich. It's not enough for me to make me more happy. I'm only thinking about me. Is it making sense? I'm only thinking about me in comparison with the other servants who got five or two coins. I'm only looking at myself as, oh, with one, what can I do? What can I do for myself? What can I do to show my master that I am also good enough? Because I'm only thinking about me. The reason why you and I are put on this earth is to leave something for the next generation. Why do people have kids? For your own joy? Tell me, why do people have kids? Sunaina, why do you have children? Elizabeth, why do you have children? Rachel, why do you have children? Karuna, I'm guessing you don't have kids, right?
I don't have, but I can tell why. That yeah, why God blesses with kids.
No, we are not talking about why God is blessing us with kids. We are not thinking about God stuff only.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
When
Why do you think you are having kids? Why do you think you have kids?
yeah, kids is like we will pass on everything that what we actually uh, think is good for our lives, which will be also good for the children, for their living.
Very, like, think about Karuna, it's a very surface level answer you're giving me, Karuna. These,
Okay.
these are like very deep ones. Think a little deeper. Sunaina, Elizabeth, and Rachel. I want you guys to answer. Because you have kids, no? Progeny, I did Akka. Why, Ray? But why did you do progeny? Why did you have more kids?
కాదక్క I said progeny, then you said answer అంటే I did అక్క అంటున్నా.
Oh, like that.
అయ్యో.
Oh, like that. Oh, like that. Okay, okay. Oh,
అయ్యో.
that's funny. Yeah, but why progeny? Why?
One way is, first thing is progeny only, for every family.
Huh.
Then the second thing is
Hmm.
because we want little versions of ourselves. No, no, no.
Correct, Baba, correct. These are absolutely right. Sunaina said it very nicely. She said to enjoy the way of family life in my selfish way. Are you understanding? Are you understanding that when whatever we have, it is very, very, very easy for us to look at it only from my eyes. It is very easy to look at it only from my perspective. Is it making sense? Most of our Indian, I see, I'm not putting you guys in that bracket, okay? I'm not putting you in that bracket, but most of Indians who have children, especially if they have sons, they will look at the son and say, "You will look after me in my old age." Yes, but is that the reason why anybody has kids? The reason why we have kids is so that the little bit of what we are is taken to the next generation and multiplied. So we give to the next generation, and that generation gives to the next generation, and that generation gives to the next generation, so that their lives start becoming easier and easier and easier and easier. We are blessing them, aren't we? Aren't we blessed by our own parents? Even in their mistakes, even in whatever nonsense they did, our lives are definitely better than theirs. That is what the master was talking to the third servant about. He was saying, hey, this is not just about you. This coin is not just for you to enjoy. This coin is for everybody to enjoy. And what did you do with that? Are you just looking at it to give it back to me and say, hey, you did not give me enough? Or are you going to use that coin to make sure that the people around you, whoever you are with, their lives have gotten easier, that you've blessed them? And when I started looking at my life like that, and I realized, oh my goodness, I have a lot to give. Suddenly, the things that I thought were my weaknesses became my strengths. Why? Because I started looking at it differently. I started focusing on myself differently. I started looking at myself like, I have a purpose in this life. Whatever is put inside me has a purpose, and it is my duty to figure out what that is. It is my insane responsibility to figure out what that is. It is my insane responsibility to figure out that my children are not my children. They are my responsibility and a joy. And when I'm giving to them, when I'm giving to you, even when I'm giving to Sunaina, I'm giving to Elizabeth, I'm giving to Karuna, I'm giving to Rachel, not only is my purpose being fulfilled, I am multiplying my coins. And isn't that awesome? Isn't there more joy in multiplying? So when I look at this story, and when I look at, and I become very emotional about it. You know why? Because I know at one point of time, when God, if you have to equate the master to God, if God had to look at me, he'd have to say, he would not look at me as a lazy person. He would not look at me as, oh, you're not keeping to the calendar, hey, you're not being productive. He would not see me like that. He was actually seeing me as a wicked person, a wicked child, a wicked servant. But now when God looks at me, he's looking at me as, oh, my good and faithful servant, I've given you one, you've given me many, so I'm going to make you responsible for more things. Does that make sense? Yep, absolutely, right?
Yeah, we are made to give it out.
Yeah.
We have to. That
If
is
you don't,
whole intention.
if you don't live your life like that,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you will implode. You will insanely implode. Which is one of the reasons I go back to what did I just say? Be kind to yourself. Don't be militant. Like you cannot attack your goals in militancy. You can only do whatever you set out to do if you know what your purpose is. If you know what you want to do. If you know deep inside what is it that I am set out to do, then your goals become easy. Annihilating your goals becomes easy. The 90-day challenge is nothing. Waking up at 4 o'clock is nothing. Being productive is nothing. Doing all these things, having a great family life, running a business, being a great boss, like doing your health, like working out, everything becomes easy. Why? Because you know what your purpose is. Is that making sense? Yep. So I'm going to end this session, but I'm going to leave you with 3 takeaways. Like always, focus. If you do not focus, your energy is going to go everywhere. But if you focus on the right things, your energy goes in the right way. If you're focusing on good things, your energy is also going to flow into the good things. If you're going to focus on you and say, hey, I am beautiful. I am insanely talented. I might have one talent of talking, but I am insanely good at it. And guess what? All that energy goes into that. Yeah. Number 2, never look at other people and compare your life with them. Because every time you compare your life with somebody else, you will look like a loser. Yes? Did the third servant compare himself with the other fellows? Of course he did. And the moment he looked at himself through the perspective of looking at himself through other people's eyes, he became a loser. Number 3, you don't live for yourself. If you live for yourself, you end up being a wicked person. Yeah? So these 3 things, hold on to them, because I'm telling you, I can teach you all about pricing. I can teach you all about marketing. I can teach you everything that there is to know about business that I've learned. But at the end of the day, if you don't do these 3 things, you might make more money, but you will still be a wicked person. And if that is your goal, go ahead. But if that is not your goal, please do these 3 things. Okay? And with that, I'm going to stop the recording.